Navigating through the energies of New Earth is not an easy process and can become extremely overwhelming at times. As we all ascend into higher frequencies, we're all being guided to embrace our own unique divine pathway, a pathway created in the vibration of love. Join Vibe Nation radio host, international psychic medium Carrie Turcotte, as she guides her listeners to rediscover themselves by accessing the keys of knowledge that already exist within. Each week's show is divinely orchestrated to intertwine with the universal energies, allowing the listeners to go deeper within and understand the message being shared even greater. When you live in the frequency of love, there is no competition, so Carrie will be joined regularly by fellow soul family members who will bring forth wisdom and knowledge she knows should be shared on a global level. At the end of each show, Carrie will tap into the energies of the listeners to see what message Spirit wants to share with all those listening in for the upcoming week. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, come and join us now on Vibe Nation Radio, here on the IOM Radio Network.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Vibe Nation Radio, where today my special guest is Paul Afgarinos, who has been here several times. I just love his energy, and he's a Grammy-winning artist, a composer, producer, and an engineer. And today we're going to be talking about the power of visual meditations. Paul, are you on the show, my friend?
I'm here, Carrie. It's great to be with you again.
It's lovely to be with you as well. Welcome to the show again. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I think I think the topic that we're going to talk about is really important right now just because of what's happening energetically on this planet and how, we've got the universal energies, we've got the global energies, and the actual nodes. We're not here to talk about astrology, my friends, but just understand that the nodes are actually about to shift tomorrow and on the 10th. So what we're doing is the North and South node are going from Virgo to Pisces to Leo and Aquarius. So just know for the next year and a half until December 2018, this is all about trying to control our mind or our monkeys and live in a frequency of love. So I thought, how perfect is that to have a show with Paul to talk about the visual meditations and the importance of shutting down the monkeys and going within and really living from a heart center. So I think the show is divinely orchestrated for us, Paul.
Can't get better than that. That's what we all need. Divine orchestration.
Absolutely. Yes. And for those that Paul has just produced a new album, and it's the AMMA Devotional Songs to the Divine Mother, and he's been guided to start creating visual meditations to help people, and I think it's really cool how Spirit divinely orchestrated to allow you to do this, Paul, to pull you to do this for people.
Yeah, I feel very blessed to have been drawn to this work and to have the software and the helpers to make it happen. It's a wonderful combination of music and visual power because, you have the power of the mantra in the music, and then you have the power of the meditative geometric sacred geometry in the fractals that are morphing on the screen through all kinds of different permutations. So together it's a pretty powerful combination for centering.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And one thing I've noticed, my friends, I posted one yesterday on my Facebook wall, and I'll post the other one later on after the show. But when you do these, my friends, take 10 minutes for yourself and sit down. And if you have a large computer, go and do it and pop it up on the big screen. Okay? Because when you get pulled in, again, it's everything that it's not just what you see, it's what you hear, it's the mantra. You start to get really pulled in, and afterwards, you need a couple of minutes just to kind of rewire, because if you stand up immediately, you'll probably, get a little dizzy and go down and go boom. That's one. Kind of like your little toddler at home, right? Walking around, and all of a sudden, boom, down she goes.
Yeah, exactly.
So These are very, very powerful meditations, my friends. And when you go into meditation and you quiet the mind, when you open your eyes slowly afterwards and you start to get in tune with your breath, if you stand up too quickly, you will get dizzy because you've just done some rewiring of the mind. So, take 10 minutes to do this and see the power that it has on you, because every time you watch it, you have a different experience, which is even more beautiful because the soul will guide you to what color is being pulled to you, like what's happening in the picture that you're like, whoa, I didn't see that before, but now I'm being pulled there. There's always a new message to be heard within these meditations that Paul has done, and that's why I love sharing them with people, because it's 10 minutes. If you say you don't have time for yourself, please say you've got 10 minutes for yourself to do something like this. It's so important right now.
Yeah, it is. It is a good centering. There's just so much psychic mental energy flying around, a lot of noise and a lot of worry and anxiety in the ether, a lot of thought patterns about good and bad and right and wrong, and all that kind of limited thinking is pretty strong at different times. And right now I feel it being very strong in our world. Mm-hmm. So it really helps me a lot to have these meditations. It's kind of like Dr. Heal Thyself. I pretty much started making them because I needed them. I remember my wife, my wife Jen said, people could really use these visual meditations because, maybe they're at work or something and they can't put the sound on, but maybe they can just have the fractals, the sacred geometry moving gently on the screen, or even in a corner of their screen. It might be very soothing for them. So she encouraged me quite a bit to make these visual meditations as an offering to help people in their daily lives, because we all need a little extra love and help every day. Can't hurt. Absolutely. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, tell Jen thank you for pushing you to do this, because I know personally, like I said, we're in these challenges. I guess the energies are shifting and they're really there for us to tap into, but there's also the global energy that people need to get realistic about. That if you're in tune with energy, you're going to feel the global of energy, and there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear that's out there, and we get pulled into that as light workers because we feel it more intensely because we're in tune with energy. So it's so important to work on oneself right now. So knowing that we're all connected. So if you shut your mind down for a few minutes and just allow yourself to just get centered again, it's a ripple effect that's going to start to help other people. And that's the beauty of this.
It's very true. It's very true. It really, in a bizarre, strange way, it all begins and ends with our own inner life. And the more centered and expansive and peaceful we are, the better our lives are, and the more positive effect we have on everyone around us. And it does ripple out across the universe in a magical way that's hard to comprehend from a limited perspective, but it actually does. So any good work you do for yourself has a beneficial effect for you and also for all beings. And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's never wasted. A prayer, a meditation, a little yoga posture, some deep breathing, any of these practices, they help you, they help us all, they help all other beings at the same time. So it's really a beautiful paradigm, beautiful principle of the universe.
Yes. And as you were saying earlier about the duality, I've been channeling this in the Vibe Report, and Spirit said that yesterday the duality train was actually showing up in people's lives, and the Spirit was saying, do you want to get on the duality train, or do you want to stay on the fate train, your destiny train to where you're going? So I thought that was interesting that you mentioned that about the duality on the planet right now.
Yeah, that's very timely.
It's almost like we have to understand that we are one, and that, there is duality. Yes, we have a 3D reality, and you have your reality and I have my reality. But when we let go of the hologram or the illusion that we've created, which is the 3D physical stuff, you realize, again, we're all one. So, a lot of people need to understand, don't look at it as win or lose, wrong or right, this way or that way. It's your perspective, my perspective. It just is. And that's what I love about the work that you do, Paul, that, the music, the sound of your voice, the frequencies of your voice, the geometry, everything that you've got going on, there is no way for someone to say, oh, that's not the right way to do it. It just is. And that's the beauty of what you do. It just is, which is very powerful on an energetic level.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's like Eckhart Tolle has been saying for a while that duality is being magnified and pulled to more and more extreme polar positions, and it's that paradox that things are getting better and worse at the same time. It's kind of bizarre, but you have to wrap your brain around that for a moment. It's like, Yeah, when you really think about it, you can understand that it's true, that a lot of profound realities are not necessarily obvious from the normal superficial waking consciousness, which likes to box things in. The ego loves to box things up and say, oh, okay, well, that's spirituality or that's religion, and put it in a neat little box with a bow on it, and then they can move on to more important things like, what have you done for me lately? And and what about my petty needs and concerns? And can we talk about my ego more? And did I tell you that I was angry and upset about my shoelace?
It's so true, so true. Stay tuned, my friends, and we'll be right back with the power of visual meditations. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today my special guest, Paul Avgarino, who is a Grammy-winning artist, composer, producer, and an engineer, and he's joining me today so we can talk about the power of visual meditations. So before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about duality and people jumping on the duality train, and that, there is duality, but there's not. Trying to distinguish between the two is very difficult. And Spirit's in the house now, Paul. Of course they are. You know how this works, this show. And Spirit is saying to me, let's just talk a little bit about the difference between 3D, 4D, and 5D energies, because your visualization meditation, people can do it in 3D, 4D, and 5D, depending. Do they listen to the music? They just watching it? the way you were talking about Jen, that she's saying people could put it in the corner while they're working, because you and I both know that, you cannot live in 5D. And this is something they want to talk about, that you can only go over there for a while. You tap into it, and that's the full visualization when you're watching it, and then all of a sudden you have the monkeys shut down, you're listening to the music. You go completely into 5D, but you don't live there. You come back into reality, and you use that information or that knowledge or that calminess to be able to move forward. So Spirit is just trying to say, let's just talk a little bit more about the power of your meditations, because people can do them in the different dimensions that we have available for us to work with right now.
Right. That's a very important point, Carrie. Yeah, it's so important for people to remember that. As Amma always says, the reason we do meditation and devotional practices is to be able to get that true deep perspective, or the 5D, and then be able to keep it guiding us when we're back in the more normal 3D daily life, so that all our actions and thoughts are directed by that 5D deep true perspective. Right, exactly. It's pretty hard to drive a car or take care of a toddler when you're completely immersed in samadhi. So you probably would just not do it. You'd be like, well, what's the point?
Exactly. So, well,
but we all have many.
Sorry,
go ahead, Carrie.
I was just going to say it makes me laugh, because on the weekend I had a high school reunion that I went to. And I was trying to stay in 3D, 4D land as much as I possibly could. But I kept getting pulled into 5D because there were so many people there, right?
Yeah.
And I had to leave. It was too much on me. And this is something that I see a lot out there, that a lot of people, like, we're moving into 5D, we're living in 5D. And this is something that really upsets me when people say this, because we're not living in 5D. If we lived in 5D 24/7, we wouldn't be here. We would be in spirit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You and I both know.
Exactly. Yeah,
and it's teaching
exactly.
people to teach people, we're here to live a 3D reality and to be able to channel this information. Like, you've got a toddler. If you went and did a bunch of mantras and started going into meditation, you couldn't look after your daughter at the same time, because you're not really there. Like, this is where I'm feeling people are having difficulties understanding the difference between 3D, 4D, and 5D and how it works. And that's why your meditation works so well, to guide people, to bring them back to planet Earth. We live here on 3D land.
And as Amma says, it's important to remember why we came here into this 3D existence, and not to just get lost in animalistic consumption, eating, drinking, living, making love, whatever. It's there's a purpose to this existence, and that's why we go into the deeper realms, to remember our true nature and our true purpose, to remember why we came here to this world. And then our actions and our thoughts can be guided by that higher truth, by that Dharma, that path of, that correct path that we each have. It's different for each person, but so we go into 5D and we remember our Dharma and remember why we came here and what we're supposed to accomplish here. And then we're able to do it easily. Well, not necessarily easily in an obvious way, but that Spirit is guiding us. And so we're able to do what we need to do as long as we stay consistent and stay devoted and stay working steadily at our life's work, So that's a real blessing to discover that and remember what that is, that Dharma. I feel so grateful that I know what that is, and so my life has a fullness of purpose about it.
It does. I can feel, as you talk about it, I know it's coming directly from the heart, because I can feel your heart chakra opening up as you're talking about this, Paul. That's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a real blessing. It's what Amma always says. It's a great gift of grace to know what you're supposed to be doing, because there's nothing more painful for a soul than to be just wandering around in samsara, in the physical world, the 3D world, aimlessly. Like those bad dreams we have where we're just nothing seems to make sense and nothing seems to work. It's like all disconnected, and that's the reality for many souls. They live that, day and night. So. Yes. Yeah, yes. And then meditations, visual meditations and chanting and all kinds of meditation and yoga techniques, they help us to calm down and wake up and remember our true nature. And I want to thank all the OMTimes radio team for, making this platform available and helping us to reach each other and help each other with these sometimes challenging issues.
Yes, beautiful. And you're a big part of the OMTimes family, Paul. You know that. And we love having you on, right?
Oh, yeah, such a pleasure.
And it's because you're able to touch a very diverse group of people, Paul, that a lot of people you and I both know there's a ton of people on this planet that are just beginning their spiritual journey. They're just waking up now and they're starting to see there's more to this. And when they wake up, a lot of people, they're overwhelmed and they don't really know where to go. And that's the one thing I love about your work is that if you've never meditated before, it doesn't matter, and it will be a brand new experience. Or if you've meditated for years and years and years, again, it's something that, to me, it's your work is diverse to all. So it's not like it's an advanced, intermediate or beginners when you start to wake up, you're not going to go to a university class about spirituality if you just woke up, but you can go to Paul's visual meditations at any level and still benefit from it. And that's what I love about your work, Paul.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's very intentional. I'm always trying to make the music and the videos as accessible as possible, to make them universally understandable and appealing, so that it's not, it doesn't put anyone off or seem inaccessible or too complicated in any way. Just keep things very simple and very direct from the heart, and I think that way you reach a lot more people much more effectively if you keep it simple and straight from the heart. That everyone, people respond to my video, they don't speak English, they may not understand the mantra. It doesn't matter, because the love and the spirit is in the video, it's in the images, and it's in the music. And so that's great, because then we transcend a big barrier, a cultural barrier, where language is part of the cultural barrier. People think differently in different languages, different ways of conceiving life's aspects. And that's one of the things I love so much about music and about visual art, is it's so transcendent, it just goes right past that big old language barrier. Yes,
it speaks to the soul, because with yours, people can hear it, they can see it, and they can feel it. So you're really getting in tune with your senses when you go. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, Carrie, I can't sit down and chant Om for an hour. I'm like, what are you talking about? Either can I. I can't shut my monkeys down for that long. But I can go and be outside and be in nature for an hour and shut the monkeys off. That I'm able to do. So, this is for everyone to understand, but we're all unique. We're all different. And one thing that I love about Paul's stuff is not just the visualized stuff. I can actually go on and listen to his music without looking at the visualization, because I'm so in tune with it. It's almost like my soul now can take over for itself. I don't need the visual stuff anymore, because I see it. Yeah. Because I've seen it so many times. I already kind of know the way it goes. So it allows my soul now to speak to me through your music, which is, again, this is the beauty of what your work is for. And anyone who's listening, please, take 10 minutes of me time, because it will make the we stronger. I guarantee you.
Yeah. It's a great path. Music is such a transcendent, direct path to the heart, direct path to spirit. And it's really amazing. You think that, creatures from another civilization far away in our universe, from another galaxy, star system, could hear this music. Well, actually, they do hear it, of course, because, it's a vibrational art form. They hear it and they understand it completely, even though they may be a different type of life form. They may not even be carbon-based life form, who knows what magical, mysterious creatures we haven't encountered yet.
Yes.
But yet the music will be completely understandable to them. They will understand exactly my intention and my heart and my difficulties and everything they'll know from listening to the music. That's such a beautiful gift that the universe has given us. I think that's why we call music the queen of the arts, because she's so so magically charismatic and empathetic. There's this she understands everyone. she welcomes everyone.
Yes,
yeah.
And that makes me laugh because I'm seeing my dad's obviously in the house with us right now. Of course, he's like, "Oh, Paul's on the radio. I'm coming to join you, Carrie." And anybody who's new to the show, my dad is actually in spirit. But they were talking in the Vibe Report not too long ago, but we're going through like a stage of close encounters of the third kind. That the energies are coming. So see the mothership coming in going, dee, nee, 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 nee. And they're saying they want you to get in tune with the frequencies. So it's, again, the fact that I was talking about this on the last Vibe Report, Paul, and now you're talking about it. Again, this just shows those that are listening in just how in tune we are with one another. Because music for the soul is something I have big for, and I posted that quite often. And here you're talking about the same thing, and I've been channeling about this. So how many of you who are listening in right now has Spirit been using music to speak to you? Because that's a beautiful way for Spirit to get your attention. And on that note, we'll have everybody think about that as we go into this commercial break as the music comes on. And when we'll be back, we'll go deeper into this conversation. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back at the commercial break.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Soon enough, it was up to me to be his housekeeper and financial manager, too. When he moved in, I became his cook and even his nurse. But no matter what roles I play, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the roles you play. So to help, we created aarp.org/caregiving, where you can connect with experts and other caregivers. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today my special guest, Paul Avgarinos, who is a Grammy-winning artist, composer, producer, and engineer, is joining me today, and we're talking about the power of visual meditations. Now, Paul, you have 2 visualization meditations that you've created so far, correct?
Actually 3. I did one for Grace of Om, which is a piece on my Grace album. That was the first one, but I feel like I've improved the art form with the 2 that I did for the AMMA album. So I did one for Shiva Hum, which is I am Shiva, I am pure consciousness, and Namah Shivaya, I bow to Shiva. And then I did one for Amma's mantra, Amriteswariye Namaha. So, yeah, I feel like the art form is maturing. I'm getting more comfortable with the computer program and learning how to work it in an artful way. So it's it's working well. It's working well.
and both of them actually, those that are listening in, the two of them actually bring you to two different completely places. That's the thing I love about them. It's like, okay, am I feeling I need to listen to this one, or am I feeling I need to listen to this one, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because the music is different. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it brings me. I find the second one that you've done for the AMMA album, to me, it's a lot more. It brings me in deeper. Like really, like it has more of a grounding energy for me personally.
Yeah.
Where the other one, it brings me more into a higher state of consciousness. Like, yes, I go in, but I'm in a different place. Yeah. Like I feel like the energies are one's more for rooting and one's more for getting high on energies.
That is so profound. That what you said. I have to unpack that for our listeners. That Carrie feels the grounding of the AMMA's mantra, the second one, Om Amriteshwariye Namaha. It's called AMMA's mantra on YouTube, because of course AMMA is the mother of the universe. That's the Mother Earth. It's the ultimate ground of existence. It's the source of all manifestation. You can't get more grounded than the mother, the mother with the capital T and a capital M. And
exactly.
Of course, the mantra in there is invoking the goddess. This is one of the most powerful goddess mantras. It means literally salutations to the divine, immortal goddess of the universe. Mata Mritanandamayi Devi Ma. It's a very powerful mantra. So every time you hear it and then you chant it, you don't even have to chant it. Just hearing it, it's an invocation of the divine mother of the universe, the source of all that is. And so it's very soothing and grounding. And then it's so interesting what you notice about the other one, which is, of course, about Shiva and Shivoham, saying, I am Shiva and I bow to Shiva. Namah Shivaya means I bow to pure consciousness. So this is a very, very high vibration. It's the, in divine terms, it's the opposite of the mother. It's the polarity of the mother. Yes. So you have the picture of Shiva dancing on the chest of the mother. That's the image that the Hindus use. So Shiva is this really high vibration, pure consciousness, pure being, apart from any type of manifestation. It's the unmanifest. And it's a very high vibration state. It's so it's like the Tao. And they say that the Tao Te Ching, the source of all that is, of the unmanifest, whereas the mother is manifesting everything. So it's just really cool that you picked that up so strongly, just from the mantras and the that's really amazing. It's very cool.
Well, and it's cool for me to understand. Now I understand why, because sometimes I'm like, which one? I'm thinking, I know I got to feel that. I got to get grounded. I got to listen to this one, And it's interesting how I picked that up without even really understanding. So again, my friend, this is the universal language that we're talking about here. That I felt I knew through my own soul. If I need to pick me up, I listen to video. I watch video 1. If I need to get grounded, then I listen to and watch video 2.
Yeah.
So
I will listen to the second one in the car on loop, because it's so grounding to me. I'll chant my mantra over AMMA's mantra back and forth, and I'll just listen to it around and around because it's so grounding for me as I move through the 3D existence, and helps me to stay very peaceful and content no matter what happens on the roadway or such and such. Yeah,
that's beautiful. And it's, my friends, believe me, if you can't turn the monkeys off right now, because I know a lot of people are having issues with that, like I said, take a few minutes to listen to Paul's and watch his. I honestly, I had a girlfriend that had never watched a visual meditation before. And she phoned me so excited afterwards. She's like, oh, my gosh, and I saw this and I saw that. And, oh, my gosh, and the second time I watched it, it turned into this. And I'm like, see, it's different every time. She got excited. It was something that she knew that she could do that made that, again, it touches your heart and soul because you're dealing with so many different sensories. You're allowing people to get in tune with their clairaudio, with their the clairvoyancy, their clairsentience, because they're feeling all these clairs, and it's allowing you. Again, guys, if you did this or did one, even if you only did it once, if you don't meditate at all, you're saying I can't do that. Remove the word can't from your vocabulary. Yes, you can. Sit down, and instead of watching TV after dinner, sit down and watch this and take 10 minutes, and I guarantee you'll go, oh my gosh, I need to start doing this a little bit more because I actually do feel more like me. Especially if you've had a really rough day and you're out there in 3D land, running around at work and dealing with this global energy. When you come home, it's really important to take that time for self. Like people I don't have time. I got to do this and I got to do that. And like, if you go to bed at 11 o'clock, go to bed at 10:30. Take a sea salt bath, listen or watch a meditation. And really, that is really all someone needs to do to get moving with this. Again, my friends, I guarantee you, Paul, he's got a little kid. He's not sitting there chanting, 15, 20 hours a day and in meditation mode. You just wouldn't have time. You wouldn't be functional either if you were in meditation mode for that long.
Yeah, and that's why AMMA says regular people, we call us householders, are regular people, that we have children, we have jobs, we're in the world. For householders, like us, we can use our downtime, like when you're driving somewhere, you can do a little chanting. If you're sitting in your office working, you can have some peaceful music, meditation, healing music, comforting music playing. You can have the visual meditation on your screen. It's like you use the time that you do have wisely so that, you have that quality of life, so you don't have as much suffering in your life and you're not feeling, stressed out and bombarded and tired and everything. We have to use what time we have available as best we can so that, we stay aligned with our dharma, and our quality of life is ultimately much better.
Yes. And because you mentioned dharma, I know this is something, again, that people get confused out there, and I understand it, but I think we should talk a little deeper about that, because dharma and karma are two different things, my friends. And a lot of people don't understand that. So since I know you can explain this very elegant, that, so Paul, what's the difference between karma and dharma, since you're talking about it?
Right. Well, dharma is a very beautiful concept and word, and there's two general levels to it. The first level, the higher archetype is righteousness, right and wrong. Things that we agree about. It's not right to hurt other people. It's not right to destroy the environment. It's not right to be greedy or too greedy. A little bit of greed is not a bad thing. So that's the higher level. And then the personal meaning, when dharma is used in reference to our individual lives, it's more about what is Paul's duty, what is his destiny, what is Carrie's destiny in this existence, what are we here to do, what is our purpose in life. And so when we say, I am trying to stay, or you might say, I'm feeling more aligned with my dharma in the last few years, that's the more personal meaning of dharma. And then karma, of course, is more about cause and effect. In this lifetime, immediate cause, if you're mean to someone, they're going to be mean back to you. If you're loving and kind to them, there's a better chance they're going to be loving and kind back to you. Now, they might not be loving and kind to you even when you are, but that could be because of past karma. So the way karma works is through lifetimes, all the good and bad things we've done are carried forward like a beautiful, perfect balance sheet, And when we do good things happen in future lives. So AMMA would say that the reason Paul is having so much wonderful blessing in this life is because he did some good things in past lives, and he was doing some awakening before. This isn't the first time around the rodeo for any of us. So that's how we think of it. You know, you have local karma, like in this lifetime. You know, if we did something bad when we were young, it may haunt us later in life. If we did something good, it may bless us later in life. And then there's, of course, the more mysterious karma, which is coming from past lives. And that's the one that's hard for people because they say, oh, look at that wonderful person, wonderful child. Why are they suffering like this? Well, because you don't know what they were in a past life now, do you? They look really nice now, but maybe in a past life they were very mean, hurtful people. We don't know. And we don't want to try to know because that's really a waste of time. AMMA says just be as absolutely good and wonderful as you can be now in this moment and going forward. And forget about the past. It's a canceled check. You can't change it. But what we can change is what we do now and tonight and tomorrow. So that's where we put our energy, always trying to grow and expand and be more aligned with our Dharma and more aligned with absolute Dharma. So that's how we break it down. Yeah.
That's
My
beautiful,
pleasure.
Paul. And it's just, I really appreciate that, again, because this is just where a lot of there's misconceptions out there of people understanding the difference between karma and dharma. And it's just like the difference between, you know, we're moving into a 5D planet. Well, you and I both know it's 5D energy. We're not living there. You can't live in 5D. You become spirit. You become energy when you're in 5D. So I really appreciate you taking the time to say that. And I'm laughing because I can hear spirit saying, just wait till the days that you guys are going to go out and say, you know, you can have a conversation with your neighbor saying, you know, you should really let go of that past life and live in this lifetime, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm just, because so many people are just, again, they're just opening up to this now, to the past lives and how this comes in. So anyways, my friends, one moment. We'll be back after this commercial break with the weekly message and our last segment with Paul. Stay tuned.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Hello, I'm John Lithgow. Manatees are unique, among the most amazing animals on Earth, but they're endangered. We pose the greatest threat to their survival. Many manatees are killed or injured by boats or other recreational activities. I'm a writer of children's books, including one about manatees, and I believe education is the key. You can be part of the solution. Please contact Save the Manatee Club right now. Call 1-800-432-JOIN. Thank you.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today my special guest is Paul Avgarinos, who is a Grammy-winning artist, composer, producer, and engineer. And this is a time in the show where I tap into spirit to get information about this upcoming week, and it always has to do with what we've been talking about. So, of course, we're talking about the power of visual meditations. And the channel is saying to me right now that, you know, we have a very powerful full moon that is coming up this Wednesday. And there's going to be a lot of love, slaps, kicks, punches, karmic bombs going off, they're saying, for those that are refusing to truly live in their soul's purpose. And they're saying that a lot of people are still conforming to something that they know their soul does not want to conform to anymore. And even though they've made the choice, instead of doing something about it, they're becoming grumpy old bears and leave me alone, don't want to talk to you. And they're saying, don't allow this to take place, my friends. The true source energy of who you are is available to come through right now. But so many people are caught into the global energy of the chaos that's happening, because this is causing a lot of people right now, their soul connection with higher self is not as powerful as it could be, because it's almost like they're saying that people have got their guards up right now. They're waiting for more. Oh, what else is going to happen? What else is going to be said? What else is going to be thrown at us? And they're saying that this is blocking this beauty because it's causing the fear monster to come out. And they're saying you have to understand that we as humanity are working together right now, and we're working with the power up above. That's when you're able to shut down your mind and allow the higher self to work with you. And they're saying this is going to give you time to allow the little kid to come out to play this week. Go out and have some fun. They're saying because there's so many messages that are being thrown at people, and like, wow, I didn't expect that coming. And they're feeling that their lives are taking a little too long. Oh, this is taking way too long to deal with. And Spirit's like, it's because a lot of people are still putting their energy too much into what they don't want instead of what they do want. So please do yourself a favor this week, my friends, and please use Paul's meditations. Again, if you need a little bit of funk and you need to get into higher self, listen to video 1. And if you need to ground yourself and get more centered, then listen to the meditation 2. He's got 2 there for the taking. They're saying you have no excuses this week. So, Paul, was there anything you'd like to add to this love slap they're trying to give to the listeners right now? No excuses, no excuses.
Just so beautiful to hear you, the way you're expressing this, and it's all very true. It's such a powerful time, and I feel all those forces so strongly. And it's amazing that the full moon is Wednesday. It's a powerful full moon because we have a monthly AMMA satsang where we gather together, do chanting and prayers and all, and it's going to be Wednesday night at 8, so it's really perfect.
Yeah, right on time, my dear. And we go into an extreme energy cluster the next day, just to give you a heads up. So it's going to amplify that love and beauty that you guys will create together as a group. So make sure you send it towards me up here in Ontario. Send that love my way, Paul.
Yeah, it's very true that the universe has this amazing capacity to magnify whatever we do in a unbelievable ratio, So even small fragile, tentative efforts of trying to meditate, of meditating, of praying, of being loving and kind, and practicing nonviolence towards ourselves and towards the world around us, and loving nature. Nature responds to that. The universe responds to that, and it magnifies our little efforts 100 times, 1,000 times, sometimes 10,000 times. It's just so beautiful. And of course, we don't want anybody to go in the opposite direction, because the universe will magnify negative efforts too.
Yes.
And you have to remember that.
Absolutely.
That if you put your intention, you have to remember how powerful you are. We're all very powerful creator beings, and we have the ability to manifest realities. And so if we put our power into any kind of negativity, it will be magnified. And that's how people get into these frightening situations. They start out with one bad thought, and next thing you know, they end up in jail, or somebody is in the hospital, or all kinds of bad things snowball because of the power of the universe and the law of attraction. And so that's why the number one law is Dharma, is follow righteousness.
Exactly.
It's not a goody two shoes kind of thing. It's for our own good. That's the thing that people need to understand. Yes. This is not about being an altar boy or getting a star for being a goody two shoes. It's not at all. It's because when we're good, our lives are good, and we feel good, and we sleep well, and we have good lives, and our lives are filled with love and prosperity and health and joy. But
Yes.
So Dharma, it's very beautiful the way the Hindus express it, because, it's not about morality, or judging good or bad. It's simply just, this is the way the universe is. So if you want things that you enjoy, like health and prosperity and love and comfort, then give those things, and they will come back to you 1,000-fold. And so it's a very beautiful principle, because it works constantly. It's infallible. I mean, I've seen it all my life. I see it in the lives around me constantly. So that's what we have to remember. And you can't go wrong if you follow the larger Dharma and you follow your own. If you stay aligned with your own Dharma, you can't lose.
Yes.
Only good things will come to you.
It's, when you were talking about, how we're all frequencies, one thing I've been using to help people understand is every single person or every single organism that's alive is a tuning fork. So you have your tuning fork, I'm a tuning fork, that piece of grass is a tuning fork, the tree is a tuning fork. And when you're in good vibrations, you're in 4D vibration, which is in the middle of the prong. Because we can't go to 5D, for, like you said, we can go into 5D and tap into it to align ourselves, but we can't live there. We have to live in 4D. And when people go into 3D, it's like they go to the top of the prong and they're like, bring, and then they're bouncing back and forth, and the vibrations become too much. That they always have to ground themselves to bring themselves down back to the prong, so that you're in the middle of 4D. Because when you go outside, that's the importance of nature that we're talking about here, my friends. Like, the trees and the pieces of grass and the flowers, they don't have stress. So they're in tune. Their tuning fork is already in 4D, because Gaia is in 4D.
Right.
So it'll, when you go outside and you feel so much better, so much immediately, it's because all those thousands and millions of tuning forks on the grass, they're all singing la, 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 la. They're all in 4D.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's a way to get your tuning fork. So like when you're getting together with your group of friends on, or your group that you've got on Wednesday, you're all going to be in that tuning fork. You're all going to go in there, and tuning forks are going to be in line with 4D, but you're all going into 5D. So you're going to make that 4D even that much more powerful when you leave, because you've all come together to create this energy together. So that's beautiful. I'm so looking forward to feeling those vibes at my end. I'm like, I can feel Paul. He's in his group right now.
Yeah. Well, I like to do some chanting at least every evening.
Yes.
I chant while the toddler is playing. I keep an eye on her. One eye is firmly on her, and last night she was bringing me videos and making a pile of videos while I was playing the drone and chanting. So I felt a little bit like Shiva with many hands. It was great. It's like, now that's the kind of multitasking I want. It's a spiritual multitasking.
And you, for those that are listening in as well, if you want to find, Paul has so many albums, my friends. He's got beautiful music. Again, he's got a lot more going on than just being a musician here. He's a composer. He's an engineer, and he's won several Grammys. So please go to his website, roundskymusic.com, for more information about him. He's also on Facebook. So I will post your videos again, like I said, Paul, on the Facebook wall so people can see them. And I am trying, again, I'm a little technically inclined here. I'm going to be posting them on my website as well, my friends. I already got permission from Paul to put those up there. So I'm going to have a section that's called meditation. And in there, you'll find Paul's his visual meditations and links to his website and more information where you can buy his other albums or his songs from online right there on his website.
Yeah, and for those of you that enjoy streaming, don't forget the Pandora and Spotify. You can find me on there very easily. If you just put in my last name, AVGERINOS, you'll find all kinds of streams of different albums of mine, and that's a nice way to enjoy the music nowadays as well.
Absolutely. And you've got such a variety. Again, my friends, it's not like you're going to go on there and see one or two albums. He's got lots of them on there. So I can just hear Spirit, no excuses. I guarantee you're going to go on and you're going to resonate with one of the albums. You're going to resonate with a lot of the different songs that he has. Again, my friends, don't make excuses anymore. You know, when people say, oh, I don't have the time, stop and ask yourself, do you really need to go out to dinner with your friends to spend that money that you probably don't have? You know, I'm not trying to put anybody down here, but again, a lot of people go out and do things that they know it's instant manifestation. I'm going to feel better if I go shopping, or I'm going to feel better if I go out to dinner with my friends. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, but don't make it don't make that excuse to why you can't go and shut your mind off for 5 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, it's all about balance. You know, it's you got to maintain that balance between the inner life and the outer life. Not get too lost in the world, because the world ultimately will not satisfy our deepest needs. It will give us a little excitement and a momentary pleasure, and then a big Visa bill, and then whatever else comes. But then
they come the stress monkeys.
Yeah, then you worry about, oh, God, I spent so much money. Oh, I got to work harder. That's a vicious cycle. So, you know, it's ultimately, though, the real satisfaction comes from the inner life.
Beautiful. Well, thank you again for joining me this week, Paul. I really appreciate you coming on. I feel your message is very powerful, especially during these times with the note shifting and people really need to figure out who they are at a soul level. So thank you again. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure, Carrie. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful week, my friends, and I will see you next week on Vibe Nation Radio. Have a wonderful week and enjoy the beautiful full moon that's on its way. Take care. Bye.